Okay, welcome to the Test Yourself portion of Learning Module number 10. As always, after this slide, you'll need to advance the slides on your own. Okay, for question 1, go ahead and read the scenario here and decide which van the organization should purchase. So this is obviously asking you to calculate the life cycle cost for each van. So we've got the acquisition cost there, plus we've got the annual operating costs. Then we have the maintenance costs, and then finally we're going to add back in the disposal costs, because it's not actually costing us, we would actually get the money back. So it's going to be a plus minus, and you can see there that even though van B has a lower initial sticker price, van A, over the 5 years that we would be looking at, because that's what we have the information for, would probably be the better buy. Now, that being said, most organizations are not going to do this, and so they're probably going to end up purchasing van B. Okay, take a look at these 3 acquisitions that an organization is taking a look at and decide whether or not they would be capitalized. So the new van, yes, almost always we are going to capitalize big purchases like this. They're going to definitely span more than 3 years of lifespan, and generally speaking, a van is going to be over $1,000. So yes, that will be capitalized. A new laptop computer is going to fall into the area of maybe, maybe not, right? So if the laptop were over $1,000, then yes, probably we would capitalize it, because it does have an expected life of more than 3 years. But you know, we could be buying a $250 laptop, in which case we may just roll it into our operating expenses. A copier service contract. So here's where it's tricky. They're not actually buying the copier, they're just buying a contract for someone to come out and service the copier. So even though it costs $1,200 per year, you're not purchasing an asset, so it's not in the capital budget. Instead, it's just going to be an operating expense that the organization has to put in its operating budget. Okay, so think about what you know about these 3 organizations and try to determine what their capital structure might look like. So Grand Valley, obviously it's very capital intensive. We have significant physical plant, lots of buildings. We also have a huge staff and faculty that would be, very hard to move, right? So let's just say that Tejas gets into his mind that he wants to move us all to Florida. Well, that's not going to be too easy to do, even though I personally would support it. So we're very capital intensive. We're also very labor intensive. The John Ball Zoo, well, the zoo is probably physically dependent upon where it is in Grand Rapids, right? They've built out these exhibits. They've built out all of the animal enclosures, and they're very capital intensive, not only because of the physical plant, but also because of, quote unquote, the equipment in terms of the animals. They're not going to be able to take an offer from the Amway Grand to, take a spare floor in the building. They need the space that they have, so they're going to be very capital intensive, very heavy, if you will. Now, ArtPrize, even though we think of it maybe as having a physical plant, the organization that runs ArtPrize actually is very nimble and light, right? They don't necessarily own the spaces that they go into, right? They just work with the different venues, and they rent the space in the city of Grand Rapids where they have, all the food trucks and everything, and they put on this show. What would stop them from getting a great offer in Holland and saying, hey, I'd like, Holland, we'd like to be the new ArtPrize area. Come on out here. Could the ArtPrize organization do that pretty easily? Yeah, actually they could. So we would consider them to be more nimble and light. So with that, I think we're done with learning module number 10. Go ahead and ask any questions that you want to on the discussion board, and have a great week.